Hi everyone, Michael Cavacini here. I hope you're doing well. If I sound a little funny, it's because I'm getting over getting sick. But I wanted to share with you my thoughts on my final Kiss concert ever. I was at Madison Square Garden Friday night for night number 1 of Kiss's 2-night stand at MSG to close out their career. And just wanted to share your thoughts, or my thoughts with you about what that experience was like. So I've been seeing the band live for 20 years, and I've seen them about 20 times. That's like one time for every year that I've been a fan, seeing them live. I mean, I became a fan in 1996 when they performed under the Brooklyn Bridge as part of the reunion tour. That just caught my attention. And then I started seeing them live in 2003 when they did the World Domination tour with Aerosmith. So it's been 20 years of seeing them live through all these tours, through 3 Kiss cruises that I went on, 3, 4, and 6. I had the opportunity to interview Paul multiple times, Gene multiple times, Tommy, Eric, Bruce, Ace multiple times. Meet Vinny, Peter, meet all sorts of people in the Kiss camp over the years. J.R. Smalling, it's just been incredible. And of course, all the fans, right, through these years. I've had the opportunity to take part in the Kiss FAQ podcast, the Kiss Room podcast, Pod of Thunder, just all of these different podcasts and ways that us Kiss fans come together. So I thought it would be fitting to share with you my experience on Friday. So I came from Philadelphia, hopped on the train, Amtrak, real early, because I heard that Andy Moyen was going to be doing a walking tour of famous Kiss landmarks in New York City. So I thought, okay, I will get there early. So I got up at the crack of dawn here, got to New York by like 7:30 a.m., and then went to the hotel, dropped off my luggage, and met up with the Kiss fans at Madison Square Garden. First one I see is Julian Gill. I had never met Julian before, so I was excited to go up, shake his hand, give him a hug, and finally meet the legend that is Julian Gill. Julian's a very nice guy. He's obviously written some great books about Kiss, and I've been honored to be on his podcast many times, and it was great to finally meet, get a photo together, and, spend some time together and catch up. So that was great, and then we met up with Andy and a whole bunch of people. I mean, there must have been 50 people or more in this group. It was a lot of people. And we just started hitting up different spots. I mean, Andy was showing us the place where they bought the original firehouse light for the stage, where Ace bought guitar picks for the first album, where Peter bought some equipment for the first album. The tunnel that they did the Hotter Than Hell photo shoot at, all different spots throughout the city, the Diplomat, the Palladium, just a variety of things. And so we did that for a few hours, and then one of the stops we hit was on the way to the Kiss pop-up store. So for those of you that don't know, Kiss, I think through yesterday, had a pop-up store in New York that actually was right next door to the same store where they got that firehouse light for the stage. So it's kind of funny that the pop-up store was next to a historic Kiss landmark. I have a feeling they didn't even know that when they put it there, but go figure. So the pop-up store was part museum, part store. So I'm going to, first off, before I continue here, make sure, if you don't already, subscribe to my website, michaelcavacini.com. Go on there at the top of the page. You can sign up for email alerts, because I'm going to write a long post with videos, photos, and a lot more detail about my experience. And I will include videos from the Kiss pop-up store, from the Kiss concert, from all sorts of good stuff. So you're going to get a lot of good extra content there. So make sure to sign up. And also, you'll be able to find my interviews with the Kiss members on there, and other good things. So if you like Kiss, there's a lot to dig into. But anyway, back to the store. So I go into, we walk by the pop-up store on our way to these landmarks. So around noon, I decide, or around 11:30, when the pop-up store was going to open, I decided to head back because when we were walking by at 9:30 in the morning, there was already a line down the block of Kiss fans waiting to go in. And I thought, I don't want to be dealing with this later in the afternoon, too close to the showtime. So I went back with the fan and his kid. We got in line, and I waited 2 hours to get into the pop-up store. So got in line around 11:30, got in around 1:30. So I go in, and when you first walk in, there are boots. So you see the Kiss boots in glass cases or plexiglass. On the walls, there's guitars and different historical moments are on there, like dates in the band's history and stuff. A big Kiss logo, of course, music playing. So it's a pretty cool kind of welcoming, going to that room. And then you go into the next room, and in that room, there's just Kiss on the walls. It's just these white walls with videos playing and music. They had one of those things you could stand in where they have the ring light with your phone in it, just basically spin around you in a circle as you act goofy. I did one of those videos. I look like a jackass. So, it seems like everyone does what they do with this. But I'd never done it before, so I thought, what the hell. Also in that room are the Creatures of the Night outfits. I assume from the most recent Kiss Cruise where they wore those, for Creatures of the Night, which is Kiss Cruise 6. That was my last one. So you've got Tommy's outfit, Eric's, Gene's, Paul's, and then you line up in that room to go in downstairs for the merch. So then they let us downstairs. They would just let people in, depending on capacity, go downstairs to the merch, and that's in a smaller room. And in that room, they've got all the stuff on the walls. They had this big pennant that went for like $750, and that was sold out. It did look very nice, but I don't think it's worth $750. Well, frankly, nothing is worth what they charge, as we all know. They had a few coats, leather or like varsity jacket. The varsity jacket is what I went home with, and it's very nice. What else did they have? They had a scarf. I wanted the scarf, but the scarf was sold out within the first hour of the store opening on Thursday, I think it was. Yeah. So that was out. But the cool part about being in the store was not necessarily the merch. And by the way, the merch in the store was exclusive, so it wasn't merch that was also at Madison Square Garden. So whatever was there wasn't at Madison Square Garden and vice versa. But while I was in the store, I ran into Matt Porter. I ran into Eric Alberti. I ran into just a variety of Kiss fans. Bobby Dreyer, of course. And it was just like a little party, right? We're all taking selfies and catching up and having a good time. And I hung out there way longer than I expected because of all these people. And even when I was waiting in line, I met two people behind me, Molly and Casey, who I'd never met before. It was her first show, and her first Kiss show was going to be, the band's last, basically. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, just having this community, of course, and reconnecting with people, meeting people for the first time is what made it special. And by the way, if you are watching this video, depending, I guess, on when you're watching it, this coming Friday, I'll be in the Kiss Room with Bobby Dreyer and Matt Porter, where they'll be sharing their experiences about the last concert, as will I. I'll be sharing my experiences about Friday. They'll be sharing theirs about Friday and Saturday. But anyway, so I went home with the varsity coat. So I went back to my hotel, got some food, crashed, got ready for the concert. By the time I was getting into the Kiss pop-up store, it was raining. And by the time I went to Madison Square Garden, it was pouring. So I was just wearing my jacket. I didn't bother bringing an umbrella. But I did not wear my Kiss coat. Madison Square Garden, didn't want to get rain on that. So I just wore my regular coat with a hood. Trekked it over to Madison Square Garden, a few blocks from the hotel, and went in. This is my first time in Madison Square Garden. For those of you that have never been, you basically have to go up, I think it's like 6 floors to get to the first level of the arena. It's really weird, because at most arenas, they're street level, but not Madison Square Garden, probably because Penn Station's beneath it. So it has this really strange, elevated quality about it. So I go in with all these Kiss fans. People are wearing makeup. boots, all sorts of crazy stuff. I'm just wearing my end of the road shirt, black jeans, Kiss belt buckle. I think that was it. Nothing really special, but although the belt buckle's from the 70s, so I guess that's cool. So I go in, go through the metal detector. I'm in section 300. I basically bought a ticket, the cheapest ticket I could find. So my ticket, I got it through the fan club pre-sale. I only paid the face value. So I paid $90 all in, including fees and taxes. I remember telling someone this online, and they're like, bullshit! Like, as if I was lying about it. Well, I learned that the people sitting next to me paid $300 a ticket. And a lot of fans apparently had to pay more than face value for the tickets because of Ticketmaster just being a shit show. So I'm sorry for those of you who had to overpay for your ticket. I'm grateful that I didn't. So I got in, and on the 300 level, there's a sky bridge. So the sky bridge is technically where I was sitting, which is this weird thing. You have to Google it, but it's like this elevated bridge. It's like suspended by the ceiling. And there was like a glass tabletop and like a rolly chair on carpeting, and like that's where I sat, and there was no one behind me. So that was kind of cool. Because basically I rolled my chair out of my way and was just like dancing around and singing along and having a good time during the show. But while I was there, I ran into a bunch of people. I ran into a variety of friends who I either had, met in the past or had never met and was meeting for the first time. So that was really nice. Got lots of photos. Again, I'll be sharing all that stuff on my website, so make sure to look out for that in the coming days. And then, Evan's band started. So Evan Stanley has a band called Amber Wild. If you remember, he used to be in the group The Dives, and then they're still around, but he's no longer in the group, and he started his own thing called Amber Wild. He opened for Kiss. He's been opening for Kiss lately, and they were great. Really, really good. He's really come into his own, and I think he's even better than he was in The Dives. So I was very impressed. Great music. And wish him well. I mean, he was performing last night, apparently, at the Bowery Electric in New York. That was his first headline gig in New York. So congrats to Evan and the crew. They did a fantastic job at MSG and seemed to really enjoy the moment. So after they finished, Kiss came on around 9 o'clock. So they came out, played for, I guess, about 2 hours. And it was a blast. I mean, I got emotional when they started doing the droning sound came on, and they showed the band backstage coming from the dressing room, and they were about to announce, you wanted the best, you got the best. I got emotional because I realized, okay, this is the last time I'm ever gonna be part of this live. And 20 years, I mean, the majority of my life I've been part of this, so it was just like, okay, this is happening, this is real. So that was an emotional moment. But then the curtain drops, Detroit Rock City starts to play, the band is coming down on their pods, and it's like, all right, let's go, right? And it was a blast, and it was just, Kiss Classic after Kiss Classic. There were basically no surprises except for 2 songs. Heaven's on Fire, I didn't expect, and Making Love. I should point out that the set list for night number 1 was exactly the same set list as night number 2. So I'm actually glad I didn't attend the second show because it was the exact same show. If anything, there were some things that Paul said that I guess the way he said them I thought were actually better in night number 1 than night number 2. So yeah, I didn't regret not going to night number 2. But the show itself was great. There were lots of classics, right? Shout It Out Loud was the song that made me a fan. And, of course, that was there. I mean, you had Deuce and Calling Dr. Love and Beth and Do You Love Me and kind of a short version of 100,000 Years. Cold Gin, Love Gun, I Was Made for Loving You, Black Diamond, all sorts of classics that we've come to know and love. So it was a great representation of the band. And really, it was just, if you've been to shows on this tour, it was pretty much like the ultimate version of that. Things they didn't do, I guess I would say, is that if it were me, and I was them, I would have done some video packages kind of celebrating the history of the band, right? Um, like a highlight reel, or celebrating, members who are no longer part of the band, whether it be Peter, Ace, Eric Carr, Mark St. John. I'm sure they're not going to celebrate Vinnie Vincent, but you get my point. You just have like a highlight reel. Or why not have like a highlight reel for each like decade that the band's been around? Just kind of tell their story throughout the show. That would make sense to me. You could start with the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s and 2010s and 2020s, whatever. That's what I would have done. They didn't do anything like that. So in other words, if you've seen a show on this tour, then you've seen the show at Madison Square Garden. I mean, it was literally the same show. The only thing that was different was some of the stuff that Paul said, but it wasn't that much different. The only other difference I guess I would point out is that they gave us these wristband things that you would wear that had 2 lights on them, and they would light up throughout the show. So that way the whole arena would light up, different colored lights and things, just in sync with the music. And they would alternate and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. So it was nice. Yeah, so, and then the show ended with, Rock and Roll All Night, going into God Gave Rock and Roll to You, the recording, of course, as it says, Kiss Loves You, New York. And that was that. So, I mean, it was, again, the way all of these shows have ended on this tour. And, yeah, by the end of it, I felt satisfied. I mean, I was standing next to people the whole time who were really into the concert. I mean, this one kid to my left was dancing around. I was dancing around with him. The guy to my right was hilarious. He was just saying some ridiculous things. Yeah, it was just a blast. I just really soaked it in and took in every minute of it and enjoyed it, and was thrilled to be part of it. And then, yeah, after the concert, I went back where I left the arena, and I met up with a friend, and we had dinner at like 11:30 at night. And then I went back to the hotel, crashed, and woke up the next day and came back to Philly to watch night number 2 on pay-per-view. So in retrospect, I think that, night number 1 was fantastic. I mean, to me, the whole point of this experience was to spend the day with the fans. Reconnect with people, connect with people for the first time, and then, of course, to top it all off, see Kiss, right, for the final time. And that's exactly what I did. I had done meet and greets before, many times. Like I said, I've interviewed the band many times. Last time I saw them, I was in the pit. I've been front row. I've done, all the VIP stuff. This time I wasn't looking for that. I was just looking to, be up in the rafters with the rest of the fans and just have a good time. And that's exactly what I got. The view was perfect. I could see everything from up there. The acoustics were good. And this tour has been the most fun that I've been part of ever, that I've seen. That's why I've seen the band on this tour, I think 6, 7, 8 times, something like that. But a total of 20 times over 20 years. And so for me, this was the best way to, say goodbye to Kiss. And it's definitely the end of Kiss. That's for sure. When it comes to them touring, like, this is it. I know people speculated. And in another video, I will talk about it, the new era of Kiss, so make sure to watch that video. But I'm glad I went, because this is definitely it. But let me know, did any of you go, and what did you think of it? And what did you think of the pay-per-view? Feel free to share your thoughts. I mean, in my next video, I'll share my thoughts on the pay-per-view and the new era of Kiss and what my thoughts are on that. So tune in for that. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, visit me at michaelcavacini.com, like I said, for all sorts of good stuff related to Kiss, and to see photos, videos, and more from my day in New York. My first time in Madison Square Garden, my last time seeing Kiss. That could be interpreted as being a sad moment, but I'm just happy that I had 20 years with them. Thank God that first farewell tour wasn't for real, because there's been lots of great memories since then, and I'm glad to have had them in my life for 20 years. So thanks for tuning in. Share your thoughts down below, and make sure to visit me, michaelcavacini.com. I'll talk to you soon.